Good evening, students. Uh, Today, our topic is composition of Constituent Assembly. Okay. So, first of all, we have to know that what is Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly was that body which made our Constitution. Okay. Constituent Assembly was that body which made our Constitution. Now we are going to discuss about the composition, how the Constituent Assembly was formed. The Constituent Assembly was formed in the year 1946 under Cabinet Mission Plan. Under Cabinet Mission Plan. Okay. So before I going through the whole topic, I would like to give a basic idea about two things. One is provinces, and another is princely state. Princely states. Princely states. One is provinces and another is princely states. Provinces are that those areas which are directly under the control of British administration. Okay, directly under the British administration are called provinces, and princely states are those which were not directly under the control of British administration, but they have some authority. They have the authority to rule their own territory. Like these states are under some king or some prince. Okay, that's why it is these states were called princely states. But provinces were directly under the British administration, under British control. Like say for example, Bengal province was there, Madras province was there, Bombay province was there, Northwest Frontier province was there, Central province was there. So many provinces were there which were under the direct control of British rule. But princely states were not directly under the British rule. They were independent body under some king or prince. One more thing, you have to know that during the British administration, India had altogether 565 princely states. Okay, small princely states like say for example Manipur, Tripura, Bhopal, Hyderabad, then Jammu and Kashmir, Mysore. These all were not under direct British control, but they were actually ruled by some king or princess. Clear? Now hope you understand the basic difference between provinces and the princely states. Now come to our point, that is Constituent Assembly, which was formed under the Cabinet Mission Plan in the year 1946. Constituent Assembly, which was formed under Cabinet Mission Plan, was not a directly elected body. Directly elected body means the citizen of India were not participated in the time of electing the members of Constituent Assembly. Clear? The citizens of India were not directly involved in electing the members of Constituent Assembly, but indirectly. Okay, indirectly. How? indirectly elected body. Constituent Assembly was a indirectly elected body. Constituent Assembly was formed by provincial legislative assembly. The members of provincial legislative assembly elected the members of constituent assembly. Legislative assembly means in our Indian states now we have legislative assemblies in every state. Like Assam has its own legislative assembly, which is in Dispur. Legislative assembly means Bidhan Sabha. Okay, so during the time of British rule, these territories were not called states, but these were called as provinces. So the name was Provincial Legislative Assembly. So the members of all the provincial legislative assemblies elected the members of Constituent Assembly. Clear? The members of provincial legislative assemblies elected the members of Constituent Assembly. Okay? Now there are some criteria. There were some criteria during the time of election, that is provinces, they had to elect how many members? 292 members. Clear? And princely states, they had to elect how many members? 93 members. Clear? Provinces, they would elect how many members? 292, and princely states would elect 93 members. Second criteria was the members should have distributed, means the provinces would be distributed among the three main communities. The members of all the provinces would be distributed among the three main communities, that is Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims. Okay, but according to their proportion of population. Like Hindus were the majority, so the proportion of population was more than Sikhs and Muslims. Hindus proportion of population was more than Sikhs and Muslims, so the members were also elected more from Hindu community than Sikhs and Muslims. Clear? Next, they have to choose one method of representation. The method of representation was proportional representation of single transferable vote. Clear? So this is a system of representation, means system of election. We will discuss all these things in the chapter 3, but I just want to give you a basic idea that this is a system of representation, that means system of election. Through this system of election, the members of Constituent Assembly were elected by the Provincial Legislative Assembly. Clear? Okay, so like this the members of the Constituent Assembly were elected. Now some important points regarding this Constituent Assembly. One point is that the assembly was not elected on the basis of universal suffrage. Universal suffrage means the citizens of India were not involved. All the citizens of India were not involved in the making of or electing the members of Constituent Assembly. Only the members of provincial legislative assemblies and princely states were involved. Okay. Next, number 2 is that although it was not a universally elected body, but they have included all the important religions, members of all the religions. That is, I already told you, all the important religions are Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs were involved in the election process. And number 3 is that there are 26 members who are from scheduled caste. Okay, how many members? 26 members are from scheduled caste, SC, scheduled caste. Okay, the third point is that. And lastly, it was a Congress dominated body. Okay, it was a Congress dominated body because at the time of our independence, Congress was the only party which was involved in directly involved in the freedom struggle or independence of India. So it was a Congress dominated body. One more important point is that Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of, was the president of Constituent Assembly. Was the president of Constituent Assembly. Who was the president? Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and he was also the first president of India. Clear? Other members are also there like Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel, Abdul Kalam Azad, okay, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. They are also the members of Constituent Assembly. Okay, but Rajendra Prasad was the president, or you can say chairman of Constituent Assembly. Another important point is drafting committee, the committee which made the draft of the Indian Constitution. The chairman of drafting committee was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Chairman of drafting committee was that committee which made the draft of Indian Constitution. So the chairman of drafting committee was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so these are some important points regarding the making of Constituent Assembly or the making of our Constitution. Next, one more important thing, that is the Constituent Assembly was affected by partition of India. We all know that before 1947, India and Pakistan was united, but the country was divided, okay, during the time of independence, and for that reason, the part of the members elected from the territories which fell under Pakistan ceased to be member of the assembly. Clear? Because provincial legislative assemblies were, or the Constituent Assembly was formed in the year 1946. That time India was not partitioned. India was partitioned in 1947 under Mountbatten Plan. That's why when India got independence and it became divided into two parts, the territories which under the Pakistan part were ceased to be the member of Constituent Assembly. So finally the member was reduced to how many members? 299 members. Okay, 299 members. And one more important thing is that out of these 299 members, only 284 members were present, and who signed the draft of the constitution. Our draft of the constitution was signed by how many members? 284 members. Clear? Okay, so the number of Constituent Assembly members of Constituent Assembly came down to 299 after the partition, and 284 members were present when the draft of the constitution was signed. Clear? Now the draft of the constitution which was signed, before signing it was published in 19 1948. Okay, it was published in 1948. The draft of constitution. The draft of constitution was published in 1948. Draft. Okay, draft was published in 1948. The month was February. Okay, draft was published in the month of February 1948, and it was submitted to the Constituent Assembly The drafting committee made the draft and they published it in February 1948, and they submitted it to the Constituent Assembly on 3rd November 1948. They submitted the draft on 3rd November 1948 and it was adopted. The question will come, when was our constitution adopted? It was adopted in 26th November 1949. 26th November 1949 adopted. Okay, and it was enforced, means it was come into force or enforced. When it was enforced, 26 January 1950, and this day we celebrate every year as our Republic Day, because on that particular day we as a citizen of India, okay, give the constitution to ourselves. Clear? So we declare ourselves as republic. So on that particular day we celebrate every year as Republic Day. Okay, now one important thing about our constitution, that is our constitution has how many articles? 395 articles. It is the longest constitution of the world. Indian constitution is the longest constitution of the world. It has how many articles? 395 articles, 22 chapters and 12 schedules. Okay, 22 chapters and 12 schedules. Okay, so today we are going to today we learn about the formation or the composition of Constituent Assembly, how the Constituent Assembly formed, and how our constitution was finally come into existence, come into force. Okay, so from the next class I will give you notes of this chapter, and hope you understand today's class. Okay, bye bye.